The cost of living, a survival story. They say life is what you make it. But what if life is what you can afford? Across cities wrapped in steel and concrete, in neighborhoods where the hum of traffic competes with late-night sirens, and in towns weathered by inflation, layoffs, and forgotten promises, people wake up every single morning with one burning, suffocating question. How the hell do I survive today? This is a story about money, but not the kind you see on stock tickers or in glossy magazines. Not the kind flaunted by influencers filming themselves boarding first-class flights. This is about real money, or more precisely, the brutal absence of it and the human stories behind every missed payment, skipped meal, and sleepless night. It's about the psychological weight of living one crisis away from collapse, about choices that aren't really choices at all. Meet Jayden. He's 27 years old and he lives in the outer edges of Chicago, not the city skyline part with rooftop bars and luxury condos, but the side with crumbling pavement, over police blocks, and rent that still eats half his paycheck. Jayden works 3 jobs: barista, rideshare driver, and part-time warehouse packer. His degrees, one in communications and another in marketing, hang on a wall in his apartment that smells faintly of mildew. He doesn't look at them much anymore. Every Sunday night, Jayden sits at his wobbly kitchen table, covered with unopened mail and old receipts, and runs the math again. Rent, $1,280. Car insurance, $164. Student loan minimum, $221. Cell phone, $45. Gas, $90 a month if he's lucky. Groceries, maybe $40 a week if nothing goes wrong. That leaves about $50 in his checking account, not savings, after working close to 70 hours a week. And then there are the taxes. Jayden used to believe that earning more would solve everything, but the reality hit him hard. Every extra hour he worked, every overtime shift, every double came with deductions that made his take-home pay feel like a cruel joke. Between federal taxes, state taxes, Social Security, and Medicare, a third of his paycheck vanished before he even saw it. Some weeks he earned over $1,200 gross, but after taxes, just over $800. And that's before he even touches a bill. It felt like being punished for trying. He once picked up a freelance writing gig, paid $300. But after taxes and self-employment fees, he got $187. He had to file quarterly taxes, pay for tax software, and still owed at the end of the year. Healthcare didn't help either. He avoided the doctor like the plague. One year he had a sinus infection so bad it spread to his ear. The urgent care visit cost $180 out of pocket, and the antibiotics added another $60. The following month, he skipped his car insurance to cover the bill. When he tried to look into getting health insurance through the marketplace, the premiums were over $400 a month for a plan with a $6,000 deductible. It felt like gambling with loaded dice. So he stayed uninsured until he couldn't. He once went to the ER for chest pain. It wasn't a heart attack, just stress, they said, and handed him a $3,200 bill. He paid $25 a month for almost 2 years before it was sent to collections. And inflation? It crept into everything. The same grocery basket that cost him $28 2 years ago now ran over $50. His landlord increased rent by $75 a year without warning. Gas ticked up by 20 cents per gallon in a week. Even his prepaid phone plan jumped $5 this year. He stopped using streaming services, cooked more beans and rice, cut his own hair. Still, the numbers never added up. Debt became his safety net. First one credit card, then 2. By the time he was 28, he had $6,000 in revolving balances, mostly from buying groceries, paying bills, and the occasional emergency repair. Minimum payments kept the collectors at bay, but the interest kept growing like mold in the corners of his apartment. And all of this, the taxes, the debt, the healthcare avoidance, weighed on him. The stress showed in his eyes, in the way he flinched when his phone buzzed, in the unopened envelopes stacked beside his bed. He tried to cope, watched budgeting YouTubers, free budget templates, read threads Poverty, Finance, and Frugal. None of it prepared him for the hopelessness of realizing there was nothing left to cut. He even considered moving back in with his mom, but she was barely getting by herself still. Jayden wasn't alone in his fight. His neighbors traded food stamps for cash. Some delivered food under fake names to avoid losing government benefits. People hustled, shared, scavenged, and made do with less than anyone should. And in all that struggle, there was community. This journey isn't about blame. It's about truth. It's about how people like Jayden, like you, like so many, try to survive systems not designed for their survival. It's about the humanity that poverty tries to strip away and the resilience people show in spite of it.